Welcome aboard, mate.
Hey, this cruise has entertainment.
Seriously? Sid, you're out of your mind.